Hold up. Audio. No problem. Just let me know. Peace to the family out there. We live, right? We cooking. And I'm right here with the Empress. You know, I know it's Empress, but she impresses us every time and she blesses us with her presence. So I like to call her my Empress because when she's around, she permeates so much positive energy and creativity that it's the reason why I be saying it's important for a man to surround himself around beautiful women perpetually and consistently. Why? So that eventually you can start going more to the core of the woman. So when you first start, you know, as men, we just look at a woman but a son, we be like, she wifey material. Yeah, that's wifey material, right? But then if you surround yourself with beautiful women long enough, you become a little numb to it. Not numb like you don't want to engage them sexually, but numb like, you know what? You need to, you don't get captivated by just the physical aspect.
Something deeper.
You know what I'm saying? Eventually it becomes sapiosexual and it becomes more mental. So she's a prime example of that. So I honor her because she's a brilliant woman.
Well, cheers to that. Let's have a shot, everybody.
Yes.
If you're at home watching this live, have
take the shot with us. You heard?
We're gonna do, what do you call this?
Azul. You don't do the cheap thing, pardon me, people. But if you got a little Hennessy, whatever, then fine. It is what it is. But we doing the Azul. That's what we got to do right now.
We're gonna turn up today. Trying to get Polight to drink. Well, he does drink.
Yeah, she put me on. You know, Whitney always put Bobby on the. Consider anything alkaline, you would say that Azul is.
Cheers.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm doing straight shot. You doing coconut water? Let me get a little coconut water. I'm just getting that. I don't need that much. Boom.
Are we rolling on this right here?
Yeah, we doing both.
We good. Cheers. We actually doing that. Okay. Are we guzzling? I'm just making sure I understand the rules.
Okay. Yeah, we're meant to guzzle, but this is strong. Anyway, like,
we'll work our way in.
So, like, what are you most, like, popular for or famous for? Like, is it, like, the women that you're around? Like, you're always around so many beautiful women. Is it, like, money? Is it, like, black power? Like, what would you feel like leverage you the most, like, through social media?
That's a good question. I would say it's a combination of them all. That's what makes me
but which
so
one
significant.
The most?
I think all of them are the most.
The most.
All right, let me explain to you something, right? Like, there's men on the planet who may be around a lot of beautiful women, right? We don't see it as frequent, but we do see it, granted, right? And so that exists. And then you have people that's Pan-African and black nationalists. We see that, right?
Right.
And then we see people that's wealthy, multi-millionaires, right? Of which I am a multi-millionaire, self-made multi-millionaire at that. But what we don't see is a black nationalist, multi-millionaire that's driving around in dope vehicles with a plethora of beautiful women. So it's really, for me, I would say it's the combination that really captivates the audience, because how many times do we see, like, was Malcolm X a millionaire? No, he wasn't. Was Dr. King a millionaire? No, he wasn't. So, contrary to what some may contend that I'm about, many people acknowledge me as an activist or Pan-African, right, or revolutionary. They see me on C-SPAN, they see me on CNN, they see me on Fox News, right? Putting myself out there. And then right after that, they see me driving in $300,000 cars, right? $400,000 cars. But right after that, they see me mobbing out like 10, 15 women going to the club. So that pales in comparison to their conception of what a revolutionary is, because generally you think of the struggle when you think of a revolutionary, or you think of somebody who's a little bit modest, maybe not as flamboyant, you know, maybe not the jewelry, maybe not the expensive clothes and the expensive cars.
So do you find that, like, important to, like, do you feel like your movement would be just as effective if you didn't have money? Or how do you feel like the money impacts the way that you influence others? Because, like you said, sometimes they do want you to be a little bit humble when you're talking about health, you're talking about black power. Like, do you feel like you would be a little bit more effective if you didn't have money?
Nah,
or people would perceive you differently?
I'm way more effective with the money.
Right.
And that's a big part of what I'm talking about, because a lot of people will teach you about astrology. They'll teach you about numerology. They'll teach you about the sun, moon, and the stars. They'll tell you about God. They'll tell you about Allah. They'll tell you about the pyramid at Giza, right? Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, the three great pyramids at Giza, and how it's aligned with Anilam and Mintaka, and how the Milky Way is in alignment with the Nile River Valley, and how the Sphinx is in alignment with the Leo constellation, and how most pyramidal structures is on the 32-degree line of latitude around the world. And after we break all of that down, we say that's us. We're the forefathers and foremothers of mathematics and science. But how do we translate that into wealth stewardship? How do we translate that into generational wealth? How do we transcend the depths of poverty? If we are the fathers, the mothers of science and math, then why are we struggling with poverty? So for me, after we do all the astrology and after we do all the numerology, these are supposed to be cheat codes. So you mean to tell me, with all the belief in God and your connection and your prayers and all the belief in numerology and all the belief in astrology and all the conviction of melanin makes us supreme and better than everybody else, we can't use any of that information to come out of poverty? So what I bring to the table is something more realistic. And I'm not condemning or knocking anybody with any of the science, and nor am I saying any of these sciences are illegitimate. What I'm saying is, I can teach you what I know, and you can manifest your conceptions. You can materialize your conceptions. You know, I can say when I share information with you that's empowering, you can actually make it applicable and change your life in the ways that I say that you can change it in. What, in terms of paying your bills or making sure that you can give your children the unnecessary. I don't want to just give my children what they have. I don't want to just give my women what they have. I want to give them the unnecessary. And it's all right, because too many of us struggled from over 400 years. We had the trans-Saharan slave trade that took us out for 11 to 1200 plus years under Arab imperialism and colonialism. Then we come over here and the white man created a better brand of slavery, a better working model, and then we was enslaved under him for 400 or 500 years. So we almost did 2,000 years in subjugation. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not too much for me to say, hey, with the 60 to 70 years of freedom that we so-called have right now, I think we're asking too much of our people to be able to get rid of their dysfunctions. But what I can say is I'll offer you something that's pragmatic. I'll offer you something that's realistic, where you can say, you know what he's teaching in stocks and he's teaching in crypto, we can take it to another level.
So I already asked you, if you didn't have money, like how would it affect you in social media? If you had no money, would you still be polygamous?
If I
relationship?
Well, I started out polygyny when I had no money.
Okay, so that's already something that you already
right. But the goal has to be to get to the money, though.
It does have to be to get to the money, but I find that in my opinion, I find it easier for a man to be in a polygamous relationship if he has money, right?
I would say this: it's a component of it, right? It helps because my responsibility as a man, I get with you as a woman. When I'm dealing with multiple women, the first thing people have to understand is I'm not the guy that says, oh, being with one woman doesn't work, so fuck that, I'm going to be polygamous. Contrary to what people believe, in order to be great at polygyny, you have to be a master at monogamy. I have to master monogamy. So when you see me with 4 wives and courting other women, you're really looking at 4 monogamous relationships plus several others that's potential. You see what I'm saying? So for me to be polygynous, I have to master monogamy. That's one. So when we say, well, you gotta have money. No, money's great, right? But you gotta have a lot of discipline. Discipline is important, you know, and then eventually you have to be able to transcend discipline. But what I mean by transcend discipline, if I become vegan, which I am, right? I'm vegan the first year or two, somebody would say, yo, it take mad discipline. I'd be like, yo, that's real. This should take discipline because sometimes I feel like eating chicken. I just got put on the jerk chicken and hard dough bread. Shit, right? I can eat saltfish and all this other stuff. I love it, right? And ground food and all that. But if I'm doing this for 10 years, it shouldn't be a matter of discipline. If it is, that means I'm struggling still after 10 years. So, as a minute. Then we have to transcend discipline where it's no longer a struggle to subdue our passions or put our carnal nature in check. And then here's another thing that people have to understand when you're dealing with polygyny or you're dealing with multiple women. You know, we have to understand that as a man, in my working model, right, my responsibility is to see to it that you get to my level or in or around. So I know that you're staying with me because you choose to. So in other words, I have to add value to you. I have to compound interest. I have to know what your goals and your desires are, right? Mm-hmm. You and I have to come up with a plan that's for us. You and I have to find out how to integrate a vision that's for the whole family. And then you and I have to figure out a plan that's exclusively for you so you don't lose your identity being with me, right? So if you're only here supporting me and then we separate, then you are an economic slave and you have nothing. You cut off your friends, you cut off your family, and then now you got to rebuild. That's crazy. So my job as a man in polygyny, which I have a different working model from religion, my job is to see to it that you are self-sustaining and self-governing. My job is to see to it that I increase your network. My job is to see to it that for every worldly obligation, you no longer have to worry about it beyond measure. So when you stay with me, I know at the very least you're not staying with me because of money.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to know that you could just leave at any given day and live the best life you ever could have imagined because of the value that I've added onto you. And then that shit represents some form of loyalty. But if it doesn't, it's okay. You owe me nothing. Because at the end of the day, if I make you a better person potentially for someone else, because we might have outgrown each other, it's still a responsible decision for me to make. And it's a responsible decision for a woman to make. Oftentimes women make men better for another woman. Because the women outgrow the men, because the man probably is not mature enough because he lies too much. So that's where the discipline comes in, and then you got to transcend discipline. First, you got to be trying not to lie.
Is polygamy for everybody?
Absolutely not, because
So you feel like we're just born to be in monogamous relationships, and some people are born to be in polygamous relationships?
I just feel like people are born. And depending on the circumstances that surround.
No, I'm saying in a perfect society, if we had to culturally change the way that we were structured, would you say that polygamy should just be like the norm? Or
absolutely not. I feel the norm.
I feel like some people should be in monogamous relationships and some people should be in polygamous relationships?
Yeah, I feel it's at the decree of the most prevailing culture, wherever people may reside. And so for me, my thing is, I just want people to do what they can see to be the most powerful thing that they can do to contribute to existence or humanity. So I don't really have this is the ultimate way. I have the ultimate way for me. I'm a king, you know what I'm saying? I just know this. And so when you own your divinity, reality buys into it. So I own my divinity. So wherever I walk, I don't have to persuade anybody to convince them that they need to treat me like a royalty. It permeates from my being. It emanates from my being. You are an empress, like I said. So when I get around you, I feel like I have to give you respect. Not because you demand it, but because that's what's resonating from you. Okay, so when you own your divinity, reality buys into it. So if I'm so stuck in my head that, I'm great, wherever I go, people are just going to feel like I'm great. It's just gonna work. I go to sections that I've never been before, VIP, basketball games, whatever, where the friends and the family of the NBA players are supposed to be, but I ain't had no bread. But I own my divinity so much, security just let me walk right through with my entourage. My entourage is scary. I'm like, you gotta chill out that energy. Let me do this. Let me walk there. What you gonna say? Say what? I just walk there with an energy, because I feel like, hey, I'm endowed and I possess this information that can change the world. I heal people for a living holistically. When we talk about naturopathic information, I heal people through my motivation. I heal people through taking them out of poverty. I am the celebrity. So when I walk, I know my value. I know my worth. So I carry that energy. I own my divinity. And by the time I get around people, it's not even up for the debate. It's non-negotiable. They already concede to the fact that I am who I am. You feel what I'm saying? So when it comes to polygyny, I'm a fucking king. I'm supposed to have the right to have access to multiple women. You couldn't tell me nothing different because that's in my genes. Somebody else could think that and it ain't gonna work out because that's just not really in your genes. It's in my genes. I'm supposed to be around multiple women because I know their true worth. I know their true value. I know their power. Niggas say that's pimping, but that's the only reference they have for this, so I understand. It's a degenerate reference because the mind is always looking to compare something to the other in order for them to understand it. Like I'm conscious, so if I talking a lot of knowledge, people say, yo, you Muslim? I'm like, yo, why do Muslims get the credit for consciousness? That's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm conscious, but that don't mean that I'm Muslim. You feel what I'm saying? But it's their only reference because maybe only Muslims were the ones that took it a step further beyond the conventional approach towards religion. So when people say, yo, you're pimping, I'm like, yo, I see where you're coming from, because you don't have a reference, because you don't know our ancient African archetype. You don't know how we prevailed. You think our story begins in slavery. You dig what I'm saying? Our story don't begin in slavery. And this was normalized behavior. Now we're Europeanized, we're colonized, you know, we suffer the consequence of what we call an enculturation process, where we adopt foreign ideas and cultures as our very own, and now it's so ambiguous, you can't tell when you're getting watered down versions of your own culture versus your actual culture. So I get it, I ain't tripping, you know, and I hope people don't trip either. Like I said, believe in your God, believe in whatever you believe in.
Well, cheers to that.
Okay, I'm going in.
Should we pop some champagne?
Definitely. If we do the knowledge, we vibe, and this is why I love it.
Turn up.
And this is why I gotta talk to you. How do you feel when men build with you, right? And I know you know that you're brilliant. You know, I know that you're into the stocks and the cryptocurrency and everything. I'm into you. I know when I first met you, you was strictly just on. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
Yo, I forgot I was doing that. That's good footage. Keep that. That shit scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. It's a children's show. But yo, that was crazy. Damn, that was wild. That was dope though. I almost broke the chandelier. Like, that's crazy. But yo, that just happened like that. I was literally building and forgot I was pushing the shit. Yo, that was fire though. I don't need the slow motion and see our expression, because I really thought I broke some shit. I thought the chandelier was coming down my head because my imagination is more accentuated when I'm drinking. So I really thought like the silver was going to be on my head. But yo, how do you feel when a brother talks to you, right? And you know in your mind, in your heart, this nigga, I don't want to say nigga, let me calm everything down, that you know the brother really just connecting with you on a sensual level. He don't know nothing about you, so he most likely only thinking sex, right?
Right.
And how do you feel when you get the impression that, damn, this dude don't even know? You're probably like way more smarter than him. How does that make you feel? I'm gonna ask you some stuff.
I think that
I'm gonna ask you that.
everybody, if you meet anybody, in terms of dating, you're only gonna like somebody on the surface level because you don't know that person. So whether that be the woman being attracted to the man and she's so engulfed or just overwhelmed and likes him so much, like, of course she only likes him for his looks. So I wouldn't be upset if a man just was like, I mean, I'm sexy, so
I ain't mad.
if a guy liked me and he was feeling it and, you know, it was just all about lust, I don't blame him because he doesn't know me. And
Okay.
he said about that.
So on the flip end, how do you feel about women that may deject you, look down on you as though like you're doing something wrong because you're voluptuous? How you feel about that?
You know, I think it's funny. Sometimes I laugh about it, but sometimes it does bother me because it can happen from like my own friends or my own family that don't like me or treat me a certain way, and it has nothing to do with anything other than the way that I look. So
That's crazy.
But
So
cheers.
how you get through that? Like, if you had to give advice to another sister who also goes through that type of, I call it a crisis because it's a crisis, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Right? What kind of advice would you give to a young sister that's experiencing it for the first time and kind of confused? Like, how do you tell them to get through it?
At the end of the day, if you go out the house with your pajamas on and your hair crazy and you don't take pride in the way that you look, they're gonna not like you for that reason. So just like look good and do it for yourself. Look the way that you want to look, and you know, exude that confidence. And people are gonna want to tear you down because maybe you make a lot of money, or maybe you have a certain amount of followers, or maybe you just pop into your city. And at the end of the day, all you can do is just be happy and live your life, right?
Yeah,
right? Because I know people be trying to hate on you.
You already know this.
What do you say when people try to hate on you? You be like,
about use of vulgarity. You already got me. Without using vulgarity,
Man, smile at the haters, man. Buy them a drink, send them some money.
yeah,
Like,
pictures on the house, you heard?
If you
What's
mad,
your cash out,
what's
nigga?
your cash out? So you can be even more mad, okay?
Real shit. But you know, I learned a lot. You know, in fact, I actually I gotta get a shot because on the real, I learned a lot more about myself from dealing with the hatred. I learned what I was made up of. And no matter what, I still accept the critique, even if it comes in a very negative, volatile way. I still listen to the truth inside of the critique because I know that the haters is looking for anything that they cite as a weakness. So sometimes they're correct. So I appreciate it. And what I do, I make the necessary adjustments. And I feel like, on the real, more of my motivation comes from proving a hater wrong than embracing the compliment of a supporter, right? Compliments can make you weak. We need them and we love them. And don't stop giving compliments, but I really want you to hear me. It's the hatred, like people want to see me go broke. Like, you know, I spend a lot of money month to month, right? So like we film me going shopping. I spend over 30 G's on my women just doing our thing for fight weekend inside of like an hour and a half in one store. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of hatred came from it, right? A lot of negativity. Oh, you should open up a school, you should do this, you should do that. People tell me what to do with my money, right? But I make people money for a living, right? And people are like, oh, you contributing to the white man. I'm like, yo, you work a 9 to 5. You do over 40 hours for the white man. You make him money weekly, yearly. I don't. So even if I shop and spend 30K,
right,
it can't amount to what you do every year. And you're planning to do this
for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're planning to do this.
Seed of that.
Facts. I can never compete with the nigga who works for the white man for 30, 40 years looking to retire. Nothing that I spend can compete with what you're going to do for a lifetime working for.
And
you see what I'm saying? How crazy that is?
Their time.
Facts. They're exchanging time for money.
Your whole life is gone.
Real talk. So, you know, they don't look at it and say, damn, this black man is showing love to the black woman. Because secretly a lot of black men are jealous of black women. That's a whole nother conversation. They hate when the woman is getting something, like they want me to buy them a dress. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You dig what I'm saying? So that's another conversation that really needs to be had. Like, are men low-key jealous of women and the perks that come with being a woman?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel bad as a man. You're simping. They always.
We're gonna have to unpack that on my YouTube page because that's a great topic. Right
It's
there.
a powerful topic. We gotta do that.
Very, very true.
We gotta do that. That's some real shit because motherfuckers really be feeling the way. And I'm like, yo, they call me simp. They call me this, that, and third. And I'm like, yo, I honor. We sought to honor thy mother and thy father, right? So, like, I got daughters. I would hope that a man showers my daughter with gifts under the pretense that he recognizes the black woman as God, or at the very least the progenitor of society, the mother of creation, the founder of human life on earth, no matter what race came out of y'all wombs.
Like, what's the difference between tricking and you know, well, you're married, so it's different. But what would be the difference between
you can't trick on your wife, right?
Yeah, what would be the difference between a man, like, you know, like you said, worshiping a queen and like treating her the way she's supposed to be treated in a trick? What's the difference?
I think it's in the words. Like, tricking is based on you being tricked. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that woman is really spinning you around and you over here like, yo, you got emoji hearts in your eyes and you think this shit is legitimate.
Hey, he's treating her good. What's wrong with that?
But he might be treating her good. But if he's treating her good and she really ain't into him, he's being tricked. So I feel like that's tricking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
Very true.
You know, but if he genuinely appreciates that woman,
yeah,
and that woman appreciates him, I can never see it as tricking because I'm just in a different spirit. I really feel like I say this, as a man, I'll go out with you. I want you to dress real nice, right? I want you to be my trophy. I want to go in the world and I want everybody to be like, damn, that motherfucker's lucky, right? I want your hair hooked up. I want your body intact. I want all of that, right? So, in my world, and you guys can disagree, it's everyone's right, but don't disrespect me. If I want these things of you, right? Why shouldn't I pay to get your hair done? Why shouldn't I pay to put the shoes on your feet that I feel like?
Oh no, not in this time. Guys want the girls to pay for their own hair, their nails, their makeup.
Yeah,
pay for their Ubers, tea, and dinner.
Now I'm not saying do it for any woman you meet. I'm just saying
not just any woman. I'm saying they're in a relationship or they're married, they're engaged, and they still want a woman to do all of those things.
Yeah. So in my world,
this is a different time.
That's crazy. Well, where I treat my women, I'm like, yo, I want to see them a certain way. I'm funding that shit because I love the vibe when I go out and I see it the way I want to see it, right? So if you're a man and you don't got the resources to do it, and you meet a sister working with you, that's a different scenario. I would never knock a man who don't have the resources. You find a woman who don't mind, right? And I don't think it's wrong if a woman does mind, and I don't think it's wrong if a woman don't mind. So, and you might say, yo, you don't think it's wrong if a woman does mind? Yeah, because that means she needs a different caliber type of guy. There's nothing wrong with people finding the caliber type of person that's corresponding with their mentality. So for me, like, niggas say, yo, that's tricky. But for me, I'm like, yo, I want to see my woman a certain way, and I'm willing to put my money and contribute to the way I want to see her when she's with me. Because I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to fuck up her hair when I'm having sex, right? So the least I should do is pay for that shit after, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it cost me $1,500, $2,000 for her hair. So I can pee on it or rip it off, like, whatever the fuck is going on. We might have to pee on it. We might. Like, you know, erase that from the footage. But I'm just saying, I'm just talking for other guys. I'm not talking for me. I'm not talking for me personally. I'm talking for all guys around the world that have different fetishes. It may not necessarily be mine. So what I'm saying is, if I want to have the right to grab your hair and do all that shit and fuck it up, I should at least fund the opportunity to get it back right. And then I'm gonna tell you this: other people are like, yo, you want your woman dressed in form-fitting clothes like that? Other guys are gonna look at her. That's not.
Like, what if she has her own money? What if she's already a millionaire? She doesn't need you to pay for her hair and all that stuff.
It's not about that. And I'm gonna tell you this. This is the most undervalued thing about men, right? We gotta understand this. The poor man, right? He gets his respect when he spends money. The rich man don't get respect when he spends money because everybody know he got it.
Yes, he does.
No, he don't get that respect like that.
He does.
Listen to me. The poor man is going to get more respect because, you know, he ain't got it like that. So when he turn around and he foot a $250 bill to go out to eat, that ain't nothing for me. But, you know, like, I just spent like I just spent $300-$400 on my meal right prior to this, right? But I mean, it's I would expect women to be grateful just because, right? But she not gonna appreciate it the same way when you know the nigga poor. When the nigga ain't got that much bread and he pull that money out, you be looking at him like, damn, baby, you really did that? It's more respect there. What I'm saying is, the wealthy man's respect comes more from the time he spends, because he can spend his time with any of a number of different people. But instead, listen to me carefully. I want you to listen.
I'm listening.
So listen to what I'm saying. You have to agree. Listen to this.
I don't have to agree.
Yes, you do. You have to. So listen to what I'm saying. My time is more valuable as a wealthy man. As a poor man, my money is more valuable because it's about sacrifice. So the sacrifice that's made is what's valued. So as a man that can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and go wherever he want to go and be with whoever, if I choose to be with you and I can be anywhere, you be like, yo, now listen, I want you to understand what I'm saying, even if you disagree. I can be anywhere I choose to be, right? And we know this. A poor man can't be anywhere he chooses to be. He's pretty much stuck where the fuck he's at. So if me as a wealthy man, I say, yo, shit, I'm gonna consume most of my time to fuck with you. You know, I can be with this woman, that woman. You know, I can travel this side of the world, that side of the world. You know, I can just do what the fuck I want because I ain't got the type of problems niggas normally have around planet Earth. But I choose to be with you. Yo, listen, and that is to be respected, right? Because you can't put a poor man's money versus a wealthy man's money and say it's the same respect. A poor man's time, a poor man has more time.
That's not true.
So
that's not true.
Well, he might be working mad fucking hard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some of these people that don't have money, they're working 3-4 jobs. So you're saying that their time is more valuable.
No, their money is more valuable.
A rich person can be working 2 hours a day, and somebody who is poor can be working 80 hours a week. So you can't say that they have more time.
No, I'm not. Let me retract it. You're right. So, it's not more time. the poor man's
so
time.
You can't say there's more respect on a rich man's time.
The poor man's money is more respectable
than the poor person.
Yo,
Come on.
If a man is busting his ass hour after hour to make that money, by the time he decides to give you some shoes, he had to think several fucking times over. Yo, I gotta pay my children. I got child support. He gotta think about mad shit before he buy those shoes. The wealthy man ain't gotta think about them fucking shoes.
It's the same
my
shoes
fucking bag is almost $5,000.
So at the end of the day, it's gonna be the same appreciation.
Yo, this bag almost 5 G's, right? So guess what? With some fucking $400 or $500 shoe, I'll be like, that's light. Thank goodness it's only $400 or $500, right? A poor man is like $400 or $500. What the fuck? He had to think, you know what? I fuck with her. I love her. Hopefully she ain't bullshit, because then that's tricking, right? Because he got tricked. So he buys a $400 or $500 joint, right? And yo, he felt that because he worked weeks. Because even when he tried to do over 40 hours, they stopped him and said, yo, nigga, we ain't paying you time to have. Stop at 39. We see you on the clock. Get the fuck out of here.
No.
So this nigga working so hard.
If a woman really loves that man and she gets those $400 or $500 shoes or a rose,
she shouldn't even accept that shit. How about that? She shouldn't even get that from that nigga. She should be like, baby,
she's gonna be so grateful that she got it from somebody that she loves. So you cannot put a value on it about how much somebody has.
No, she's gonna be grateful because she's gonna say that nigga ain't got the money that he spent, and he did that. How would it not be impactful? If my Wiz buy me some shit I know she ain't got like that, I'd be like, damn, it becomes more sentimental. And that's just how we are as human beings. Like, yo, I know this was a struggle, or you made a sacrifice. So what I'm saying is, the wealthy man is a businessman, most likely. His time is more fucking important than his fucking money. Even though money's important, the wealth, we can never say. So watch this.
So poor people don't have important time.
No, their time is important. It's just not important. Relationship-wise, what I'm saying is, it's a sacrifice. Yo, let me explain this. As a millionaire, right? I can do what the fuck I want. I don't have to be obligated and into consistent relationships with people.
More options, right?
You feel me? Mm-hmm. So for me to sit here and be like, yo, I'm gonna obligate myself to you. That's enough for you to have.
I'm telling you, poor people begin.
I'm not gonna say it's absolute. I'm not saying it's absolute. I'm not saying. I'm not saying it's absolute. But what I'm saying is this: for a wealthy man to say, I'm gonna obligate myself to you and see you consistently, or I'm gonna even listen to the shit you talk when you upset about some shit, right? That's to be respected. Like, yo, this nigga must really fuck with me because he don't really gotta listen to me wilding and tripping, because at the end of the day, he has more luxury, liberty, and freedom to deal with other people. That's a convenient disagreement.
I disagree.
You being a fucked up woman about this.
Once again, because at the end of the day, like you almost dehumanizing rich people. Like, they still have feelings. They still want to talk about emotions. They still want to connect with somebody.
I'm not talking about the rich people. Hey, you missing?
And then they just want to. I just want to fly all over the world.
You're missing something.
And they still want to connect with somebody.
You're missing something.
Whether they have a lot of money or they don't.
No, you're missing something. I'm not talking about the rich people. I'm talking about the reception of the rich man. The reception. How can you not feel the time better than the money? If a nigga got unlimited cash, right? How you gonna feel the impact of him buying you a fucking card for your birthday?
I'm gonna.
It's nice, right?
I'm gonna feel the impact.
No, it's nice, right?
I'm gonna feel the impact.
But I tell you this: if you see a man busy and he's wealthy and he's always moving around and he's working and he's grinding, right? And then he gives you his time, knowing he's running this company, he's running that company. Yo, all these people trying to talk to him, but he refused to talk to him. That's where you can see, oh, this motherfucker really must love me, because the sacrifice is different. So that's what I'm saying. The poor man's sacrifice is different from the wealthy man's sacrifice. That's all I'm saying. The wealthy man, his sacrifice, we see it immediately when he buys some shit he can't afford. The wealthy man's sacrifice, you're not going to see that immediately when he buys you something, because he has a lot of money. But what you can see is, damn, you know what? That nigga made time for me. That's what I'm saying. They got different types of sacrifices.
Right. No, that makes sense.
That's all I'm saying. They got different types of sacrifice. That'll be your barometer to discern. Yo, he really fucked with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think there's definitely different ways that you can really show that.
Like, we're not gonna discount a card from a wealthy person. I'm just saying the card with some money in it from a poor man hit different from a card from a wealthy man. It hit different.
What is a card? Does the card have
like a birthday card or whatever? Like, yeah, it can have a nice poem in it, nigga. It can have all of that, but it's going to hit different, you know, because the circumstances that surround that person. So the wealthy man's time is more valuable than the wealthy man's time is as valuable as the poor man's money is valuable. It's right there, because and we're not gonna act like the poor man's time isn't valuable. We're just gonna say we see more intrinsic value in a wealthy man's time, because that's where his sacrifice comes in. Versus the poor man, his sacrifice mostly comes in like, I ain't got it, I gotta pay these bills, I might have child support, shit. These are red bottoms I just bought old girl, $1,100. I'm wearing some fucking backdated retro mics, and I got my girl wearing the $1,000 shoes. Like, this shit hit different. If we break up, she gonna walk around with the $1,000 shoes with another nigga. I'm gonna be still here with these shits damn near getting a hole at the bottom. Like, this is the things that men go through where they feel fucked up when they even break up. Like, I'm telling you God code shit. I'm telling you some secrets. This ain't even up for debate. This is just the secrets of a man. Just like a woman go through what she go through when she break up. And it's things that men don't even consider. It's the man that be like, yo, nigga, like I know I love you. And she be like, yo, that's just money. It don't mean that. No, that shit means something to a nigga who ain't got it, because he worked hard for it. And he had to go through multiple possibilities of probably being fucked up before he bought you the dinners you wanted, went on the vacation he couldn't afford, spent some money on some shoes he couldn't afford, and then you break up? That nigga start thinking about the bills. You like, yo, I'm not a piece of fucking money, or that's all that matters. No, it ain't even about that. It's really, he expended a lot of energy to be compensated with that money to turn around and give you the things that you like. So when the shit don't work out, it starts hitting different. Like, yo, I may never do this shit again. Does that mean you supposed to stay with a nigga because he bought you something? Hell fucking no.
Hell no.
It's just the things that enter a nigga mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens.
On that note, cheers.
You
I'm
already
ready
know.
to turn up. This has been fun.
Yeah. You know, like, we talk that talk.
We didn't even get to talk
You
about
could cut that.
crypto.
You could.
We didn't even get to talk,
You could ask me
about
whatever.
crypto.
Let me cut that.
We will
They got that.
be back.
You really think I'm gonna sit here and sing the chorus to ya? Landing on it doesn't want to work to be able to afford throwing that ass in the circle. This is lyrical fitness. Sick and I'm gifted, it's ridiculous. This prick is the feminine bitch with 2 bars on the cane into the center of his lip. Twizzlers get bit, the color of lipstick to smother his kids with. Looking like a booty goon pirate, screaming out, take a douche kid, shove it up and wreck him like a pool stick. Slam him in the lock up and doing live streams in the night in pajamas. A buttoned up shirt with the boxes, get the Glocks on, let it off. Catherine Brown looked like one of them caked up faces in a magazine. Mad at me, I would happily take her on a date, Applebee's. Jack off my sperm in a plate, bon appetit. I'm a good guy, Chucky in the flesh. Old school rap, you're not rocking with the best. My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling. I want you to play with my ding-a-ling. Scarlet, oh shit, I'm getting off topic. Double entendres coming all at once. You a tourist, surgeon can lure his girl to adore us. Oh, mama ocean, Babylonian, Machiavellians, bombing ornaments. Solomon's a king, onomatopoeia, not the lottery. I'm on your property, monopoly, oligopoly, commodity is what you got to be. Socrates philosophy, bomb atomically. Montavious, wood grain, walks wobbly, balling me. What up, girl? I'm King Kong conscious. Shake your little booty till my dick get longer. I'm the type to rearrange your face in the mirror. Your circadian rhythm is as blurred as your vision. Chauvinist pig with a Doberman pincher to go and get rid of the dough. I'm a flip son of a bitch. Can you all take a joke? Who want the smoke when I put out the flame? I do this forever, ain't new to the game. In conclusion, however, the screws in my cranium calculated every move when I'm making them go and nip shit again on the track. When I mess up, I'm like, oh, what the fact? Just get to the facts. Spitting like, yeah, here, kitty, kitty, there's 20 kittens literally here sitting with me staring at pennies. Hoppity hop, skippity skip the hook. This isn't it. This is the bridge and it goes as hard as Tiffany's tits. The kid is a menace. Before the doors are closed, we'll do-si-do the rodeo. Forgot the lyrics to the song and how the chorus go. But you know